Hello ScrUbliFers, it's your girl Amy and I welcome you to another very exciting episode of ScrUblife TV. Wow, okay, so jumping right into it, I titled this episode ScrUbliFers Work Under the Influence. Well, first and foremost, I would like to point out here, I don't think it's only ScrUbliFers. I don't think it's only people in the healthcare field. However, this show is ScrUblife TV and I'm going to talk about ScrUbliFers. Yes, it's true, it's a very stressful environment. It's an environment that many things expected of you, very superhuman type stuff. You know, you're expected to multitask and also do magic, which fortunately we don't. We're human just like the next person, but who are you going to tell that to? You're given a job to do and you're expected to deliver. So yes, it's very stressful for doctors, for nurses aides, for patient techs, for EMTs, and it's true, alas, it's very true, I cannot lie. A lot of ScrUbliFers work under the influence, that is true. However, what's interesting is that in medical school and also in nursing school, any kind of training you do get before entering this wonderful world of healthcare, you're told to always report any kind of suspicions or suspicious behavior to your superior. Well, the truth of the matter is there's always that likelihood that if you do so, you're going to lose your job. Now, is that also a reason not to report it? No, it's not. I'm actually curious. I know this is a very testy subject. It's very controversial. Know, please, I would like to hear your comments. I would like to know what you think about this wonderful topic. I have heard it. People have asked me if I've actually witnessed people under the influence. I do know, for one thing, I did work for this was a long-term care facility, and I worked with a nurse who I don't know if she was doing drugs or not. I cannot speak for her. Her actions, however, it just touched on one of my pet peeves, and that is, as a nurse, you have to balance your narcotic book. I just think whatever you do, I don't want to know. That's probably not the right attitude, but the truth of the matter is, you can't speak for other people. Now, if it's very blatant, then of course you're going to go to, you know, your superiors and let them know. But a lot of times it's not blatant. I mean, there are a lot of people who work under the influence very well and you have no way of knowing. She will never balance her book, her narcotic book. The count was always off, and that always got on my nerves. So she worked night shift, I worked day shift, and there's always been that, you know, tug and pull between day shift workers in the healthcare professional field and also night shift workers. So there's always that back and pull. It's so funny, I work night shift now and it's still there, but I have a better understanding of night shift workers, that, you know, they're not lazy. For a long time I just thought they didn't have a lot to do. Well, okay, who's laughing now? She wouldn't balance her book, and on getting there during reports, the narcotic book is imbalanced, and she didn't seem to care or know what to do. She's asking me, do you remember if this person takes their meds at this time or that time? Well, sweetheart, I wasn't the one working the night shift. You worked your shift. My thing is balance your book. When I got so fed up of always having to butt heads with her, eventually I did let my superiors know that the count is always off, the cart is dirty, you know, because I believe every nurse or every when you work your shift, clean the cart, make sure you hand over a clean workspace to the next person. I think it's professional, it's polite, and it's just the right thing to do, okay? Now, she wasn't doing this thing, so I got fed up and we were always getting into it. So eventually, I guess the two of us needed some kind of intervention, and I will tell you that I wasn't supported. The management or didn't care. She knew what the problem was because I wasn't the only one complaining. So that brings me to the part where you're not really supported when you bring these things to fore, which can be frustrating. You know, people work under the influence. I have had a doctor who I didn't personally observe him, but other nurses talked about smelling alcohol on his breath. God forbid you're going to tell on a doctor. Well, number one, they're untouchables, okay? I know they're ScrUbliFers like us, but they're untouchables, okay? They have the God complex, and I welcome any doctor to come in and say your piece. This is my piece, and I'm going to say it. They have the God complex, so you cannot report a doctor. You know, you can do it anonymously, but the truth of the matter is probably the person you're reporting to, is it the DON, is it the administrator? Who are you reporting to eventually is going to get to the doctor and you're going to get fired. It's controversial. I told you this topic is very controversial, but you know what? I really feel strongly about it because we are the advocates for our patients, but a lot of times we are not encouraged to actually speak up for them because we're shut down. Why do you think people work under the influence? It also still boils down to being short-staffed. So when someone comes, we're just thankful they showed up for work, and we're going to look the other way even if they are so plastered and can barely sling words together. In some places, they are just allowed to do their work. Is that a good thing for the patients? No, it's not. But again, when you bring it up, you are a tattoo tailor. You're not a team worker, which is bullshit, really. That's all hogwash, you know. But then that's just the culture we live in. You're being bullied when you speak up. You might actually lose your job, or they make the work so unpleasant for you, or you're not getting the shifts that you should get. So that's just what it is. And I have dealt with, you know, being cliquish and being bullied at work. You can check my other videos, it's there. So yes, these things do happen, but I do know police officers also, which is funny, they're not ScrUbliFers, but they also work with uniform, and I can tell you quite alright, yeah, they definitely are quite stressed at their job. So they also work under the influence. So it's not just ScrUbliFers. You have airline pilots. There's actually a movie which Denzel did. It's called I think it's called Pilot. Is it Pilot? I'll find the name and I'll write it at the bottom. And he was actually working quite well. People do. Alcoholics and people that do take drugs or some kind of medication that would kind of influence or affect their behavior work very well, and they fly under the radar. That's what they do. They're very functional. You have functional alcoholics, you have functional drug addicts. That's just the way it is. So it's not just ScrUbliFers, but I do know that true, it happens. You are afraid to speak up. Bottom line, that's what it is, you know. So it's not people covering up for people. Well, maybe that's what it is, you know. But I will tell you one thing I think we are all in agreement of, that, well, people tend to speak up about is when there is an abuse of a patient, you know, elder abuse or patient abuse. At least that, in my opinion, people do talk about it and they speak about it, and that it's usually nipped in the bud. But as for people coming to work plastered or high and flying as a kite, people look the other way. I have not personally seen anyone blatantly drunk or flying high on some drugs, but I do know that there have been suspicious behaviour and there have been talk of suspicious behaviour, and it's just swept under the rug. As long as the work gets done, who cares? Moving along, okay? You don't talk, you just don't talk. If you do talk, there are repercussions to that. Scrub life as we know it is a culture of bullying. I am going to talk about, I really should make that an episode. Yeah, Scrub Life, there is that, it's a culture of bullying. There is bullying in the Scrub Life. It's real. But then again, it's a call to duty, it's a calling, and a lot of us love what we do. We love our patients, we like to give back, we love the feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction when we nurse people back to health or to their baseline. Is always a good feeling. But that's just, it's unfortunate these things happen. Please subscribe, share this link, let me know, leave your comments down below, email me ScrUbliFer18@gmail.com. if you don't agree with me, feel free. I welcome, you don't have to agree with me. And if you have any experience with anyone who's worked under the influence of the Scrub Lifer, please do not hold back. This is the place to talk about it. Come on, I welcome you. So until I come your way again next time, please love your patients. They depend on you. Please don't come to work under the influence, and do not take any day for granted. Until then, be good. Bye-bye. Mwah.